Broadway, listen to the Broadway beat. Broadway makes you wanna move your feet. Everybody's tapping into everything that's happening on Broadway beats. Broadway beats. Broadway beats. Broadway beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway Beat. Standing on Ceremony, the Gay Marriage Plays, is at the Minetta Lane Theater, and I'm here on opening night to celebrate with the company led by Richard Thomas.
And when this whole marriage conversation started and our friends started getting married, I asked him about it. Should we get married? He didn't reply. He just turned around and walked out of the room. Every time I tried to bring it up, he'd get upset and storm out. And finally, I told him, I don't care much one way or the other, but why don't you want to get married? Paul yelled at me and said, if we married now, we would be having our 1-year anniversary next year. What would that say about the last 45 years? That we were just messing around for all that time? He said, I stopped messing around with you the night I kissed you. No, we can't erase history that way.
It means a great deal to me. I mean, it's first of all, the whole evening is so much fun to do, and there's so much variety for all of us, and you know, it's a cause that is so profoundly important to me, and the piece of Moises's that I do just reminds me of the generations of gay couples that I've known who were couples for decades and never had the opportunity, you know, to solemnize it in marriage. They were married, of course, they were all married. So as a tribute to that generation, that piece is enormously important to me, and I'm very proud to be doing it.
Well, I always said it was harder than a review because you have this, you know, because they're layered, they're actual plays, and you're doing presentational work on plays that are, some of them are like scenes where that aren't presentational, where the actors have to relate and fall in love and fall out of love and in some cases die. So we were always trying to find that balance and always keep a level head and a spirit of humor to play against it. So it was really a joy. I liked it. It suited my ADHD, you know, and always normally with, you know, you're trying out a new show in a preview period and you have one author to deal with, and having 8 was actually more fun.
We're planning a wedding. You know, I don't want any of that traditional crap.
Yeah, she didn't want a wedding planner.
No, it just seems so Kardashian. Anyway, I thought that we would do it differently somehow.
Anything that was even a teeny bit conventional, she hated.
Well, come on, the father giving away the bride. I mean, my father gave me away when I was 15. No, I mean literally. He caught me making out with Karen Zinzer and he threw me out of the house. Luckily, my grandmother took me in. Yeah, he thought gay was catching and that I'd give it to my sister, who, turns out, was a huge cokehead and a slut.
Oh, she's sober now.
But she's still a slut.
All my pieces, I'm a lesbian. One, I'm kind of a bull dyke, and the other, I'm just a part of a lesbian couple. And Beth Level and I we do 2 different pieces, but we're together in both of them. And one is a couple where one is getting cold feet before the wedding, and the other is a couple that's been married, talking about their wedding and talking about their love and how important it is to them to be married. And I think they're both kind of beautiful. They have a little more depth than some of the others, and I love the pieces. I think a lot of people have been very moved by the whole evening because it celebrates being gay as much as having gays be married. It's very it makes it seem like the coolest thing in the world.
Wedding marriages, I mean, really, do we honestly think that we can be with one person under one roof for a long time and not have comedy? Have you seen me naked in the morning? I mean, come on. You already have that. So, and then you have the gay, like I said, gay, straight marriages. There's a lot of humor that comes out of that, and a lot of tenderness, and a lot of emotion, and a lot of good laughs in this show. And then you'll cry. because there's some pieces that'll just move you so. Every night I listen and I'm so captivated by the journey of the writers and the actors telling their story, our storytelling.
Do you, Nathan Philip Percy, take Wallace Walker to be your lawfully civil unioned or domestic partnered partner, to have and to hold from this day forward, through the rising and falling of your individualized fiscal portfolios, in accordance with the stipulations of your respective healthcare providers, with best wishes for each other's continued existence? And do you promise in the eyes of God and the ever-shifting whims of state and federal constitutional law to cherish him for the rest of your days? What?
I do.
It's such an honor to be a part of anything that's moving a worthwhile social cause. But to hear, like, why wouldn't you be able to marry whoever you love? Like, the argument feels like you should be arguing with someone wearing a pilgrim hat. You know what I mean? So this feels like let's get this one out of the way already, you know, and let's normalize love a little bit. We need that. That's a currency we really can't have disappear on us, along with the money in this country, right? And I just wanted to be part of the good news. You know, it was my honor to be asked to be a part of this, and I ran right up to it. I'm so happy. It's extremely challenging, which makes it very fun, and and the cast is great. Just a great, fun group of people. The producers. There hasn't been one bad egg, which usually means it's me, right? So I'm the ass, but I can live with that.
I'm Mary Abigail Carstairs Sweetbuckle, and I'm a homemaker. I'm also the recording secretary on our Board of Education here in Delkey, Ohio, and I am a proud member of the organizations Focus on the Family, Family First, Save Our Families, Defend Our Families, Moms and Dads are Miracles, the Traditional Family Delta Force, the Christian Family Foundation, the Christian Family Network, the Christian Family Fortress, the Aryan Family Freedom Fighters, and fuck with the family and you die.
Well, you know, they did that as part of the initial night. They had I think there was a live feed. I'm not very techno-savvy, but they had a live feed from our show to all the other theaters that were performing this, and I think they were performing it in 40 different cities across the country. I've played it in Los Angeles, and it plays very well there because that's an area that had marriage, of course, and then it was yanked away, and it's sort of up for grabs in a way in a lot of different places. And I think that I was very pleased that it's as lively and as interesting to an audience here in New York, where the legislature has passed gay marriage and or marriage equality, or what, you know, which I think that's the most interesting issue to me, is that it's not whether you want to marry or whether you don't want to marry, it's whether you have the right to marry. And I think that to me is the most important part of the evening, and I think it's very well represented in people who felt married but didn't need the legal documents, and people who said, no, it's not equal until we get that. So, you know, to be less than it's not good enough anymore. It never was, but it's really, you know, if we're going to be that outspoken about other things, then let's say that this is also really such a gross inequality that it has to be adjusted.
Well, I mean, it means a lot to me and to my friends, and to family members as well. And I think it's a celebration, you know. And just because we're celebrating it here in New York, because everyone has the right to marry. There's still a bunch of states, 46 I think, that don't have it. So I think it's important to make people laugh about it a little bit, and just bring more awareness. And you know, and I think you laughed a little bit and you cried a little bit about a really important topic.
I got an advance copy of the announcement. Michael Finkelstein and Dr. Todd Williams Sonoma Outlet were married earlier today on stage at Radio City Music Hall during the Tony Awards by the Pope. His Holiness told Mr. Finkelstein, "Your mother has convinced me that I was wrong about gay marriage." Eleanor Markowitz then dropped dead. Is that okay? It's beautiful. Mazel tov!